wanted on the new bracket, and I said we'd go and grab a bit of footage. So let's do that now and see what you think. Well, here we are, and you find me enjoying this ride, but with an extra confession to make. Not exactly up my sleeve, but more on my head as it hangs low. What I didn't tell you was the disaster that then unfolded. Hello there. We're retracing our steps because the truth is, in the last video, checking the camera, showing me the lovely new bracket, and everything was hunky-dory. Well, it wasn't. There was nothing wrong with the bracket. It's more of a user error. So I think the best bet is to take you to the scene of the crime, and we'll explain a little more when we get there. I'd just like to paint a picture for you. We have our two friends, two up on their KTM 390. Mrs. Confessor is on the trusty Aprilia RS4. I am on the beloved Triumph Daytona. Our friends need a bit of gas, so they pull in and they start to fill up. Mrs. Confessor and the pillion, and they have a little chin wag whilst petrol's being paid for. In the meantime, I'm over the other side of the forecourt having a right old dither. I'd had a look in the tank, I'd given it a shake, it's about half full. What to do? I'll blow it. I'm here anyway. Let's have a splash and dash. So as soon as my friend's paid for his petrol, I go to the same pump he was at. And I pick up the diesel nozzle. That's right. I picked up the diesel nozzle. I didn't know I'd picked it up. I merrily topped the tank up, got my wallet, went in and said, "Pump 8, all chipper." Went, "Oh yes, that'll be £13.85 of diesel, please." And I went, "Pardon?" I said, "Yeah, £13.85 of diesel." I said, "Pump 8. Yes, pump 8, £13.85 of diesel, please." So I said, "In that motorbike?" Yes, in that motorbike. That's yours, isn't it?" So I looked at him aghast and said, "Wait there," which was a ridiculous thing to say to the man that's stuck behind the desk at a perspex screen. Well, I turned round and walked off and strode purposefully over to the pump. I knew which pump I'd picked up. It was the one on the extreme left hand side. And when I got over there, it was the diesel pump. So my heart sunk, as did my shoulders, and I trudged back into the shop and dutifully paid my £13.85 for the diesel I didn't want. I then wandered over there to break the news to my friends that they were going to go and have a lovely bike ride, whilst I sat here and waited for green flag to come and rescue me. That's what happened when we should have been vetting this fantastic new bracket. Anyway, the rest of the story I will tell you from what I captured at the time on the GoPro and on my mobile phone. Well, you find me embarrassed because that there is a taxi for the senior confessor. As that there is a motorbike with diesel in the engine. Whilst waiting for green flag to pick up, I encouraged Mrs. Confessor and my friends to naff off and not be sympathetic, and to please go away and have a cup of coffee rather than sympathising in front of me while I was racked with guilt. 1, for ruining their afternoon, 2, for ruining my afternoon, and 3, because I was busy dying of embarrassment and I'd rather do that on my own. So, while sat something like this, I rang green flag, got through to a very nice lady. Explained the situation and she was so kind. "Oh, we've all done it," she said. I said, "Yes, but have you?" And there was a pause and she said, "No." So she tried her best to cheer me up. "The nice man from Edgerton's is on his way, and when he gets there, he'll sort you out." My goodness, what a day. Let's get out of here. Today's confession is the confessions of an absolute fool, because I stuck diesel in my motorbike. Well, as you can see, the nice man from Edgerton's arrived, and he said, "What's to do?" A very northern, "What's to do?" I said, "Well, I'm an idiot, and I've put diesel in my motorbike." "Ah," he sighed. He looked at me and said, "We've all done it." To which I said, "Yes, but have you?" And he looked at me and said, "No." And then we both laughed. So the other disaster that unfurled involved my keys. It was obviously going to be a while before somebody came to recover me. And being a man of a certain age, I thought, well, I better nip to the loo. So I did. I treated myself to an Americano. And then about 10 minutes before the recovery guy turned up, I put my hands in my pocket to get my keys. And they weren't there. I put my hand in my other pocket. And every other pocket. And in the tank bag pockets. And in the main compartment of the tank bag. And when I couldn't find them then, I took my jacket off and I turned it inside out and I checked the inside pockets. And I did that thing that we do when we can't find things. I just start repeating the process, looking in places I know I've already looked. I know what I've done. It's a man look. If Mrs. Confessor here, she'd find them in seconds. They were right there in front of me. But they weren't. I can't find my keys anywhere. So whilst the recovery chappie is sorting out his paperwork, I say, "I'll be back in a minute." And I start retracing my steps. So I nip into the loo, thinking, well, have I put them down somewhere? No. I go over to the lovely man at the desk and said, "I didn't leave my keys on the counter, did I?" He said, No, I've not spotted them." "Oh, okay, not to worry." Well, the only other thing I'd done was buy a coffee. And it's one of those coffee machines with the cups in a dispenser and a bench arrangement in front of you with a hole for the bin. So having looked everywhere else, I looked down the hole. There were my keys in the bin. So I reached my arm down and the armour on my coat got snagged, and I just touched them with my fingers and they wriggled right down out of view. We had to get the bin open. I had a good old ferret in around amongst the coffee grinds and the bits of milk and the stale coffee that had been tipped in there, and hoiked my keys out. Hugely relieved. I didn't care that they were covered in Demerara. There they are, briefly missing in action. That green earring was an absolute lifesaver because there was nothing else green in that bin. I came back outside with the first spring in my step for at least an hour and started to chat with a lovely recovery man about what was going to happen next. He said, "The best thing you can do now is go and ride it. Give it a bit of a blast, rev it up a bit, and she'll be fine, or she'll be right," as he said. So while we're here and we're messing about with the camera brackets and camera lenses, I thought we'd have a little bit of a play with this kit vision. So I've put this bracket on the rear pegs. Hopefully you can see that just here. So I'm going to pop it off the front bracket. We're going to pop it there and we're going to have a little ride around and see what we can pick up. Well, now that's not pretty. Hopefully you can see that. It's on quite a solid bracket, but I trust the way the camera is mounted in the bracket so little that I've wrapped it with elastic bands, and we will see how it copes. The idea is just to try a different perspective, and I'd rather use that camera than a GoPro, which is a lot more expensive. We'll just see how it comes out. Well then, I think that's the sorry tale told. Let's get out of here. If this rear facing camera footage is any good, I'll pop it at the end of this video. So as we head through Potts Wrigley, I'd just like to thank you for sticking with me. That's always the ask. You can stick with me, I really appreciate it. I'm learning new skills here, and I won't always get it right, but I do my best. And the truth is, I am thoroughly enjoying myself whilst doing it. So whilst I'm enjoying myself, I really hope you are as well. And if you are, please give me a like, and please also give us a comment. Tell us what you're thinking, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. And if you're feeling really brave, why don't you join me by making a confession? Fess up. Your secret's safe with me, I won't judge you. Oh, we can all have a chuckle together. If you particularly like what I'm doing, then feel free to buy me a post-confessional coffee, and we can have a drink and a chin wag together in the comments section. And I hope you'll join me in a week's time for another instance of the Confessions of Her. Oh, it's a bumpy old road. I wonder if that camera's still there. So as I follow the Tesco's lorry of doom, which will probably get edited from this video, or maybe shoved in the outtakes, and past the cyclist of eternity, I'm just waiting for the tractor from hell and probably a milk float to turn up as well. Aha! I've basically got a radiator right under the cheeks of my bottom. Oh, Edgertons, fancy that. No, they're not coming for me. If you've stuck it out to the end, you're a wonderful person.